Understanding case library is an important part of using Trial Director. Although this isn't the part of Trial Director that you use when you're actually presenting your case or in a courtroom, however, it is important to just understand where your documents are and what this looks like. So on this main page, I like to call this the back end of Trial Director. It's something that nobody really sees except you or your tech person or whoever built your case. So if you look up on the left side, it kind of looks like Windows Explorer a little bit. It has this kind of folder structure. And if you click on Documents, the plus next to it, you'll see all of your actual files and exhibits are underneath those documents. You can certainly click through them and kind of expand if needed to see. Sometimes you'll have multiple pages under each exhibit. Oftentimes you will actually, and you'll have potentially hundreds of pages within those exhibits, and they would all show up when you click the plus. In this case, it's a very basic scaled down sample case. There's really only a single page or two on each of these exhibits. Now, when you scroll down, just kind of make sure everything looks okay and nothing stands out or there's no obvious missing gaps, just to ensure that you have all of your files and exhibits. And you can actually hit the minus and just kind of get back here. There is a view by, so you can view by all documents, image documents, photo documents, etc. Most of the time you're not going to need to mess with this, and you could just leave it at all items like it is right now. If you have transcripts, in this case we don't, they would show up here as well as down in Transcript Manager, which we will get to in a later video. One other thing to just know about and be aware of is you do have workbooks down in the lower left corner. These were popular, not so much anymore, but know that they do exist and you can use them. What workbooks are is if you have certain witnesses or opening and closing, you can kind of create little folders that you could essentially put all of the exhibits or documents or photos that you want to use for that specific part of the case, and you can quickly access them from the toolbar in presentation mode. For example, if you right-click on Workbook and create new standard workbook, you could say Mr. Smith as one of your witnesses, and you could create another one that maybe it's for your opening. And then if you actually go up to Documents and expand this again, let's say Defense Exhibit number 1, the agreement, is something that you wanted to cover with Mr. Smith. You can actually click and drag it down into the Mr. Smith workbook folder, and if you let go, you'll notice it didn't actually remove anything from the documents, but it did, however, put Defense Exhibit 1, and it's a 2-page exhibit. It put both of those pages in there. You can do the same thing with opening if you want. If there were certain exhibits or photos or images that you want to put under opening, you could do that as well. Now, it is worth noting that when you're in the case library page, you do have some other options up here. You typically won't use them. Now, it is worth mentioning when you're in your case library, you do have other icons up here and options up here that you can use, and you can kind of scroll through and just let your mouse hover over it, and you'll see a little pop-up will show you what that button will do. So this one will import new item from selection dialog. Again, you won't typically be using these, but I will say that the rotate option is pretty common, and if you have documents that were either scanned in, maybe upside down or sideways, you could click into it and click your rotate button, and it will essentially fix that problem. That's probably the only one that I really use when I'm in case library that's worth mentioning. Other than that, that is essentially the kind of back end or case library piece of Trial Director. Thanks for watching.